All right, good afternoon. I'm about to do two more problems. I know I was supposed to post this on Saturday for you, but instead I was busy Saturday creating this board. I'm in my garage right now, and I bought this whiteboard, and I put a frame around it, and I put it up in the room. So that's what I was doing Saturday. You can see my kids have already got into it. There's how my son writes his name, my 4-year-old. That's Jake. He kind of reminds me of the way Aubrey writes. Not Aubrey, my daughter. Aubrey, one of my students. There's Aubrey, my daughter. She's going to be helping us out today. All right. So, let's see. Good distance here. All right. Well, we're going to do two problems. We're going to use a different method. I'm going to call this method the odd method. And the reason why I call it the odd method is because we are going to start with the odd numbers. So whenever we complete these problems, we're going to start with whatever element has an odd number of molecules. We're going to start with that element. So our first problem, number 7 here, it is, oh, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have told you the number, but number 7, there you go, you're lucky. So we've got Si2H3 plus O2 reacts to form SiO2 plus H2O. All right, so here's our sample problem that we're going to do. And remember now, this is called I just made up a name for this. This is the odd method. So we're going to start with the odd numbers. So first we're going to start with our hydrogen, because hydrogen has 3 molecules. So I look on my reactant side, hydrogen has 3 molecules. I go over to my product side, and I see that my hydrogen only has 2 molecules. So I'm going to start balancing that one first. Now, the least common denominator for those is going to be 6. In order to get 6, I'm going to have to multiply this side by 2, and that's going to give me 6 hydrogen. I'm going to have to multiply my product side by 3. So there I've multiplied my product side by 3. So now they're both at 6. Then I look to see if there's any other odd numbers. I don't see any on my reactant side. I do, however, see that my silicone is an odd number. And so I want to bring that up to an even number. Now, looking over here, I look at my silicone, I've got 4 silicone on my reactant side. So whenever I look over here, it's going to be really easy to make this one silicone into 4. So what do I multiply 1 by to get a 4? That's right, boys and girls, we multiply it by 4. So I'm going to put a 4 up there. So now I've got 4 silicone, and 4 silicone, I've got 6 hydrogen and 6 hydrogen. And then I look for the next odd number. Why? As I start going around, my next odd number is going to be this oxygen. Because this oxygen is odd because whenever I multiply it by that 3, that makes it odd. Well, it already was odd. It was 1 before, and now it's 3. And on this side, I have an even number. So there's no way I'm going to make those equal unless I make that even. So I've got to go back. I've got to change that number. Now, I know the minimum number that I can have is 3 because my hydrogen on this side, they have to stay equal. So the minimum number I can have is 3. In order to get this right, I'm just going to double it. Because if I double 3 to 6, that's going to give me an even number. So therefore, I have to erase this 3. I've got to put a 6 there. And that makes that oxygen even now. So altogether on my reactant side, I have a total of, here's 8 oxygen, because the 4 times the 2 is 8, and 6 right there. So that gives me a total of 14 on my product side. So I look at my oxygen on my reactant side, I've got 2. So what do I multiply 2 by in order to get 14? Now my daughter, if you can see her, she's going like this. So she's right, it is 7. We've got 7 that we multiply by. So now the oxygen are equal. So now it looks like everything's equal, but we are going to double check all our answers. We're going to go back to that kind of step method where you double check everything. So let's just double check everything. So I've got 4 silicone on my product side. I've got 4 silicone on my reactant side. Those are equal. I go to my hydrogen. Here I have 6 hydrogen on my reactant side, but I have 12 hydrogen on my product side. That means I'm going to have to change this number. Since that's 12 and this is 6, I've got to change that. So I'm going to erase this 2 here. What do I multiply 3 by to get 12? That's right, Aubrey, we get 4. Not Aubrey, the guy at school. This is Aubrey, my daughter this time. She's going 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, good. So we got 4. So we multiply it by 4, and that gives us 12 hydrogen. Well, that changes our silicone. So now we got to look at our silicone again. We've got 8 silicone now. Look over on my product side, we've only got 4. So I'm going to change that number. What times 1 is going to give me 8? 8. So I multiply it, and I've got now I've got 8. Okay, so 8 silicone. I've got 12 hydrogen. And 12 hydrogen. Now let's take a look at the oxygen. The oxygen, I have 14 on my reactant side, and I've got 16 plus 6 is 16 plus 6. What is it? Man, I need a calculator. 16 plus 6. What is it, Aubrey?
Yes.
I don't know. Okay, it's 22. Okay, 22. So I've got to change this. I've got 14 right here, but I need a total of 16 plus 6. That gives me 22 on this side. So what do I multiply 2 by to get 22? 11. So now we've got 22 oxygen and 22 oxygen. This equation is balanced. Okay, well, let's take a look at the next equation. So we've got, hopefully you wrote all that down because it's racing now. Nice thing about a video is you just rewind it, right? I don't know if y'all do that. You can rewind it. But you can rewind it. Let's take a look at our next one that we're going to do. Using the same odd method. So we're going to go with blank C7H6O2 plus blank O2 reacts to form carbon dioxide plus water. Now, if you had my class last year, you probably recognize this as respiration. So here's sugar and oxygen creates carbon dioxide and water and energy. All right, so here is respiration. My daughter wants me to make this darker for y'all. Is that better, Aubrey?
Yeah,
okay,
I
she's
can
a very
see
good
it.
production manager here. All right, so we're going to use the odd method, and we're going to start with our first odd letter, our first odd element, and then keep going on from there. So here we have 7 carbon. So we got to go and figure out, okay, let's make sure it's balanced on the other side, right? So 7 carbon, here I have a single carbon, so I can keep it odd if I want to. I can keep this as an odd number. So what do I multiply that 1 carbon by to get 7? 7. Good job. So then we have 7 carbon on that side. So then we look at the next odd number. H is even, O is even, O is even. I've already taken care of that one. Oxygen is even here, hydrogen is equal here. Oh, here is a odd oxygen molecule. We have 1 oxygen right there. Whenever I look at my other side, I have an even oxygen and an even oxygen. That means I'm going to have to change this to an even number. I have to. So I'm just going to start off by multiplying it by 2. And remember that 2 is going to multiply both the hydrogen and oxygen. So now we've got an even molecule of oxygen over there. So now we just need to try to make sure that all of these oxygens are balanced with those oxygens. Now, if we take all the oxygens that are on my product side, I've got 14 right here, I've got 2 right here, that gives me a total of 16 oxygen. So let's take a look at what I need to do with these oxygen.
6 plus 2 is 8.
Well, there's 2 right here and 2 right here. That gives me 4, and I need 16. I'm going to work with this single oxygen molecule, or this single oxygen over here, because whenever I change it, that's all it affects, and that's going to keep it easier for me. So I'm going to multiply this by 7. That's going to give me 14, and then 2 right there gives me 16. So now I've got 16 oxygen over here, got 16 oxygen over here. Alright, so my carbon are balanced, my oxygen are balanced. Now I just need to look at my hydrogen. Well, my hydrogen right here, I've got 6 hydrogen. Okay? So then I go to my hydrogen on this side. I've got 2 hydrogen. Well, what do I multiply? Or I'm sorry, I've got 4 hydrogen. That means I'm going to have to change that 2. So I'm just going to erase that 2. And I've got to multiply by something else. Now I can multiply by 3, and that will give me 6 hydrogen. However, that changes this oxygen down to an odd number, and I can't have an odd number. So whereas I would have put a 3 right there, I'm not going to put a 3 right there. Instead, I'm going to double that, and I multiply by 6 instead. So then I multiply by 6,
6 times 6
and that's going to give me 12 oxygen. Well, then I go onto my reactant side, and I realize that I need to change that oxygen. So what do I multiply that 6 by to get 12? 2. So then, that's going to change everything up again, right? It's this matter of going back and forth. So let's take a look at my carbon again. I've got 14 carbon on this side, and I've only got 7 carbon on my product side. So let's erase those carbon.
Multiply it by 2.
What did I multiply 1 by to get 14? My daughter's getting a little ahead of herself. So what did I multiply 1 by to get 14? You know.
What?
What did I multiply 1 by to get 14?
14.
14. There you go. So now we've evened out our carbon. Here's 14 carbon. There's 14 carbon. Those are evened out. So the hydrogen. We've got 12 hydrogen right here on my reactant side. I've got 12 hydrogen on my product side. Let's look at the oxygen. Now I know this is going to be off, but right now I've got 4 plus 14 gives me a total of 18 oxygen on my reactant side. On my product side, though, I've got 28, because the 14 times 2 and 6. So 28 plus 6 gives me a total of 34 oxygen. I've got to get this up to 34. Well, I've already got 4 right here, so I'm just going to change out this single oxygen. And what can I multiply 2 by? So I've already got 4. I need 30. What do I multiply that 2 by to get 30? You know, Aubrey?
What? I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, she wasn't paying attention. All right, see, it's kind of like y'all in class. Anyways,
Yeah,
2 times 15 is going to give me 30. So now I have 34 oxygen and 34 oxygen on that side. So this one is balanced. So I'm going to do like the wife on Good Luck Charlie. You ready to stop this? You got to stop this recording here in a second.